Hey, it's Alana from Page 6 Style, and another New York Fashion Week is done and dusted. I want to tell you about some of the best things I saw and did this time around. I kicked off my fashion week with Ralph Lauren's show, which took place in Bridgehampton. Ralph's team shuttled press and celebrities out via shuttle, car, and even helicopter. And while my drive took 4 hours, it was well worth the traffic headache. The brand took over Kalili's stables, and there were horses grazing and galloping around us during the cocktail hour. And once the sun set, everyone moved to the whitewood runway that was built especially for this event. I spied Usher, Tom Hiddleston, Kacey Musgraves, Laura Dern, and many more stars in the front row. But the guest of honor was undoubtedly First Lady Dr. Jill Biden, who wore a sleek, square-neck black pantsuit with a sparkling brooch and was joined by Hunter Biden's daughter, Finnegan. Ralph Lauren's long been a go-to label for the First family. President Joe Biden wore the brand at his inauguration in 2021, while his wife's been dressed by the iconic American designer for many major appearances during her time in office, including last month's Democratic National Convention. Ralph tapped legendary catwalkers Naomi Campbell and Christy Turlington to model in his show. Turlington's daughter, Grace Burns, and her nephew, James, were also among the cast. Lucky Blue Smith walked the runway as well, with his wife, TikTok sensation Nara, cheering him on from the front row. Afterwards, it was time for Ralph's traditional post-show dinner, and his team pulled out all the stops this season. From the leather booths, to the horse paintings on the walls, to the branded dishware, every detail was identical to what you'd see at the Polo Bar back in the city. Lauren Sherman, who writes Puck's Line Sheet newsletter, reported that the custom build could have cost around $16 million. Talk about a fashion flex. Rachel Antonoff and Susan Alexandra's show stood out as a favorite from the week too. Their joint presentation was inspired by Best in Show and starred some adorable and adoptable shelter pups from Animal Haven and Muddy Paws Rescue. With comedians Kate Berlant and Jacqueline Novak as the event's hosts and Bridget Everett presiding as judge, each dog was paraded around by a different notable name. Sandra Bernhardt, Anna Gasteyer, and former Bachelorette Gabby Windey were among those who modeled Antonoff's cheerful, colorful clothes and Alexandra's bold, beaded accessories. A terrier mix walked by Dylan Mulvaney wound up taking home the top prize, but really everyone went home a winner. Especially front rowers like Ella Emhoff, Haley Williams, and Rachel's brother Jack Antonoff, who had actual honorable mention ribbons placed at all their seats. Alice and Olivia presentations always pack serious star power, and this season's was no exception. I spotted Olivia Culpo, Paris Jackson, and Mary J. Blige making the rounds, along with Tiffany Haddish, who was taking photos and videos of all the looks on her phone. About halfway through the event, though, Paris Hilton's 2006 pop hit Stars Are Blind began playing on loop, signaling the grand arrival of the heiress-turned-entrepreneur herself. Clad in a black lace look and joined by sister Nicky and mom Kathy, Paris made her way around the room posing for photos, surrounded by a sea of fans at every turn. Tommy Hilfiger is all about the fashion-tainment, runway shows that feel like true spectacles, and this season, he welcomed guests aboard the MV John F. Kennedy, the decommissioned Staten Island ferry famously purchased by Colin, Jost, and Pete Davidson a few years ago. Jost was in attendance at the show, along with Olympic gymnast Suni Lee and Gabby Thomas, Blackpink's Jisoo, actresses Shay Mitchell and Madelyn Cline, and industry icon Brooke Shields, whose 18-year-old daughter, Greer, made her runway debut during the event. And after the last model had walked, Staten Island's own Wu-Tang Clan surprised the crowd with a performance. Even the most jaded editors and celebs sprang from their seats and ran to snag the best viewing spots. I even saw a starstruck Shields hand her phone to a friend so she could pose for a photo with Raekwon. Finally, Michael Kors's show always brings out serious celebs. This time around, I saw Lindsay Lohan, Suki Waterhouse, and Olivia Wilde, who wore one of her now signature sheer lace dresses. Suni Lee wore a chic gray short suit and sweetly posed for photos with a few young fans. And it was a family affair for Lisa Rinna, who cheered on her younger daughter Amelia as she walked the runway. Her eldest, Delilah, joined her in the front row. Others on the catwalk at Kors included Dayon of K-pop sensation Twice, making her runway debut, and vets like Arena Shake and a newly married Karen Elson. The designer certainly seemed to give everyone something to talk about. While Vogue's Anna Wintour typically bolts for the exit the moment a presentation ends, she remained seated and deep in conversation with pal Huma Abedin for at least 20 minutes post-show. I wonder what they were chatting about.